Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be working on a hooded poncho. Okay, now you can add the hood if you want, or you don't have to. But I'm going to be showing you how to make it. It's super easy. And then we are actually going to be adding a belt as well. And as you can see, I sewed it right here. That will hold the belt in the back. And this is how it will look. Now, you can add all the details. So you can add this if you like, or you can add the hood. And if you don't want to, then I will show you the easiest way how to make just the poncho. So let's go ahead and let's jump into it. This is 100% cotton. And I do recommend using cotton or any type of fleece. This is the fabric that I'm going to be using today to make the poncho. And it's 100% cotton. Okay, it's still soft. And I got this fabric from Joann's. Now, if you are going to be adding a belt and the hooded part, you're going to need about 1 yard and 3/4 of a yard. If you are not, then you would need obviously less than 1 yard and 3/4. For this one, I had gotten a little bit extra because I was thinking of making a skirt as well with the extra fabric. So let's see. So now the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure from the ends of my fabric. I'm going to go based on each of the corners. So starting from right here all the way to the other side of the fabric, and it's about 43 inches. Now I'm going to go based on this because I need a perfect square. So if this is 43, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut 43 yards going this way. Okay, and now if you like your poncho to be longer, you can add more inches to it if you like, but that also depends on your fabric going this way if it's long enough. The first poncho that I made, that one is actually 58 by 58 inches because I was able to get a perfect square or a little bit bigger, and it was 58 by 58. So with this one, I'm going to have to do 43 by 43. So that means that it is going to be a little bit smaller. So that's my first step. My first step is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut 43 by 43. My cut, and I folded it by grabbing one corner to the other corner to form a triangle. So I just wanted to show you the size here. And the size is going to be roughly 29 inches. Okay. Now, again, this depends on how much of fabric you have on one side, because you would need a perfect square to be able to make the triangle. Now, here, I just want to show you how it would look. And it is going to be small, but again, it depends on how much fabric you have. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew all the way on the edges here, all the way down here, and all the way to the other side of the triangle. Now, before I get to the corner, you have to make sure that you leave an opening. So I'm going to leave about a hand size of an opening to be able to pull out my fabric. Now, since the fabric has this on both sides, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a fabric pattern that's only on one side, then you have to make sure that you put right sides together. That way, when you pull it out, you have your main pattern being seen. So I'm going to go ahead and sew, leave a hand size for an opening. Okay, and you are all set. You already sewed up the edges. Now, before you turn it around, you can go ahead and trim off any of the edges that you have, so that way it will not be that bulky when you turn it back around. You have already cut up any of the edges, any extra edges that you might have. You're going to go ahead and find your hole. And now you're going to make sure to poke out the edges or the corners and then just pull it out. I've turned it around. You're going to go ahead now and we're going to close it up. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and just put this inside. And then we are going to sew all the way around the triangle. So here's another point. You're going to go all the way to this end of the triangle and then go all the way on the top as well. So once you are done stitching up all the way around, then you are almost halfway done. If you do not want to add the belt and the hoodie part, then you're all done already. You're all set. You this is how it's going to look, and you can always make your own modifications however you like. You can add a button here in the middle. Now again, I did say that it was going to be a little bit smaller because of the square, so remember, keep in mind, the bigger the square, the bigger your poncho is going to look. If you do not want to add the hoodie and the belt, again, you're all done. You would like to add the belt and the hoodie, then go ahead and continue watching, and that would be the next steps that I'm going to be showing. Show you the belt, but again, the belt, you can make it wider, you can make it longer, whatever size you like. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my belt 4.5, and it's always easy when you have fabric that has already lines for you, or that it's plaid, because then you just have to mark on one side and then just continue cutting on that line. I'm going to go ahead and do 4.5. Okay, and in height, and then in length it's going to be 57. So I'm going to cut 57 in length for my belt. So here is my strap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to clip it down, and where you have the clips, that's where you're going to sew. So you're going to sew all the way from one end to another and then turn it inside out. Set, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut off the or trim off the extra, just like how we had done it with the poncho. So that way when you turn your strap inside out, it's not going to be that bulky. And again, it depends on the fabric that you use, that you'll be able to cut some of the fabrics very easy, and it's not going to be losing a lot of thread. But in this case, this one just has a lot of extra little threads sticking out. But just go ahead and cut that off, so that way your strap is not going to be bulky when you turn it inside out. My strap is turned around already. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and push in both sides, so that way when we sew it, we don't see this. So that's one side, and then I'm going to do the other side as well. And once you have both sides pushed in, I have my seam allowance on the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew all the way around. So starting from here, here, and then all the way across. And then once I get to the end, sew this part and then sew all the way across from the top as well. So you have your belt. Now, one thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the belt holder so that way you don't lose grasp of the belt, which I'm going to do it on the back over here. And in order to do that, we're going to grab the measurement of the width of your belt. Holder is going to go based on my belt. Now, if you made a bigger belt, then you would just have to make your belt holder a little bit bigger. Mine is 2 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and just measure a little bit higher right here. So about 3.5, that's perfect because then my belt is actually going to be able to go in through the belt holder. And then I'm going to do about 3 inches in width. 3 inches in width, 3.5 in height. All right, so I have my piece. I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. And I'm just going to measure it just in case before I sew it. And you can see that my belt is going to be able to go in through the belt holder. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew across. Went ahead and I already sewed, so go ahead and cut off the extra edges that you might have, and then you're going to turn it inside out as well. Went ahead and I turned it around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did with the belt by inserting each of the ends and then stitching all the way around of the belt holder. You have your strap already done, the strap holder. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and tie up your belt. This is where your arms would be coming out from, and then that way you can see where you would want your strap holder to be. That looks like it's right in the middle. I believe it's like right in the middle of where the tip of my poncho ends. So you can see it's right in the middle of that. And I'm going to go ahead and just pin it in place. And I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew the top and the bottom part. And you have your strap holder already in place, and you can then test it out, inserting your belt, and then that way it'll be easier for you to grab. Turn it around. And there you go. You're all set with the strap. And again, this is where your arms would come out on the side. You can adjust it however you like. And there you go. Okay, now the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and be adding our hoodie on the top. So let's go ahead and let's jump into that. Let's do our hoodie part of the cape. I'm using different fabrics since I'm making another cape, which is why it's going to be different type of fabric, but it's still the same concept. So for the hoodie part, I actually already have a hoodie pattern that I'm going to be using from McCall's, but it's going to be fairly easy to make the hoodie part because all you need is you just need to make it into a curve in form of a circle. And so it's going to be very, very easy. Now, my cape is going to be small. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do half, like about 3/4. I'm going to go like right here. Then I'm going to form it. I'm going to go like right here. And so all you need to do is just make a curve when you are doing your hoodie, because the curve is what's going to make it look like a hoodie. So I'm going to go ahead and place my weight down. And I'm going to go ahead and just make a curve. Now, again, you do not need this type of pattern. All you need is just to curve it. So even if you don't have this one, I will show you even without it. You just have to make a curve. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just make a straight line. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're going to cut it. Now, if you like, you can make it longer. Depending on how big you want your actual hoodie to be. Again, since my cape is going to be small, I don't want the hoodie to be bigger than the cape. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do it right here, and then just make the line, and then I'm gonna cut it. And I actually made it lower so I can show you the size. And my size of my hoodie is 14. And then I did a little curve here to extend it out. And I will tell you it's 12 inches in width and 14 inches in length. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this. Do not cut this part. And then just go all the way around. And then after you do this, you're going to need a second one, a second piece. So you're just going to do the exact same thing. And then with this one, you can just trace it to make another one. Folded up the other piece in half so I can get the exact same one. I just placed the one that I had already cut and I placed it on top, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing so I can get two pieces. So I have my pieces already cut. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open them up. If you have a pattern on one of the sides of the fabric, then you would put right sides together. Okay, in this case, this one is the same. So I'm just going to place it on top of each other. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the bottom open, and I'm going to sew from this end all the way around to the other end of the hoodie part. I sewed my edges and I trimmed it off as well so you can have a nice look. Once we do that, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to turn it inside out. Try to push off the edges. And it's going to be into like a circle shape. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. So this is what gives you the hoodie look. I'm going to go ahead and pull it away. And you can push this inside, and there you go. So that's why I said the length of your, or not the length, sorry, the height of your hoodie will give you obviously a bigger hoodie if you like one. But again, since my cape is going to be small, I didn't want the hoodie to be so big. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold it up like this. And then we're going to connect it to our cape. My cape here, what I'm going to do to get the center of the cape, I'm going to go ahead and fold it corner to corner. Go ahead and mark the middle. And this is how I know that this is my middle part. To mark your middle, you're going to go ahead and align it with your seam allowance from your hoodie and clip it. And then you're going to do the same thing all the way across. Once you get to the end of your hoodie, do not keep pulling on it. Once you can't pull on it anymore, then that would be your end of your hoodie. And you're only sewing the bottom part of your hoodie. This one, you're still going to leave it alone. So we can first sew this side. So let's go to our sewing machine and we're going to sew up the bottom of the hoodie with the cape. I have the front of the cape, And we have our hoodie already attached. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a nice look by inserting. So I'm going to push in the sewing part that I already did from the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to curve this edge and fold the top. And I'm going to layer it on top of it. And for this one, you want to try to align your seam allowance with seam allowance. So if you want, go ahead and you can start right in the middle of it. And we're going to pin it down. One thing to notice is that, so once you actually pin it down right down the middle, you're going to go ahead and just keep pulling this side outward. So that way you don't get a bulky section once you're pinning it down. So it's better to pull it outward. And then once you get over here to the edge, remember to push it in and then cover it up. Okay, and then here in the corner, once you get to the corner, you can then clip this part. And then you're gonna do the exact same thing. Pull it outward, pin it down. Pin this down. Once you get all the way to the end over here, push in your edge, clip this section, the corner, and then pin it one more time. Now we're going to go to our sewing machine and sew up this whole section here, and you're going to have a nice look on the back of your cape. And there you have it. You already have it connected to your cape. And there's your little hoodie. Again, you can make the hoodie longer, which will give you a wider hood for anything. So hopefully this helped you. And you're all set. And you're all done with your poncho. I'll show you how it will look like, just so that you can get an idea. And the belt holder helps you to be able to grab on the belt a lot easier, and you're not struggling to find it. You can then make a little bow. You can style your poncho with any jeans, skirt, and the hoodie is perfect because it's not that big and it's not that small. I wanted to show you the one without the hoodie part. And here we go. It's still the same. For this one, you just fix the neckline. And then you bring it down. You wrap it around. For this one, I did not have enough fabric to be able to make my belt a little bit longer, but it still works. And there you go. You have a cute little cover up. So just remember, the bigger the square, the bigger the poncho. If not, you're gonna have just a small little cover up. Okay, hope you guys like this tutorial and hope to see you again for the next one.